I hope to live a wonderful life, at least until 70. That's the average life expectancy in my country, Kazakhstan. Or it could be 89 if I move to Monaco. But I'm not sure if I will reach that age and see my daughter grow. But what does climate change have to do with life expectancy? A 2012 Harvard University research suggests that seemingly small changes in summer temperature, as little as 1 degree, may shorten life expectancy for the elderly, causing 14,000 additional deaths each year. This year, a severe heat wave in India resulted in 2,500 deaths, making it one of the deadliest. Minor temperature variations caused by climate change may increase death rates among the elderly with diabetes, heart failure, chronic lung disease, or those who have survived a heart attack. One never expects a hot summer to be a reason of an early death, but that is the grim reality of climate change.
One Saturday morning, Mary B. and her children woke up to find half their home and shop washed away by the Atlantic Ocean. The mother of two is among the 75,000 people who live in West Point, Liberia's biggest slum community. These slum dwellers stand the risk of losing their homes and livelihood to the ocean due to rising sea levels. The community has been hit by floods, causing its size to shrink year by year. They know nothing about climate change, but they know that in a few years their home will be completely wiped out by the sea.
In 2012, Sustain, a 36-year-old unemployed man, started his small business with 26 sheep. By the end of the year, he had lost 20 sheep. They died in the heavy rains common in recent years in Congo-Brazzaville. In the last 3 years, more than 2,000 people have become homeless or died in the floods. The impact of climate change on local communities is immediate, stark, and the worst. The greater tragedy is that communities are unprepared about the risk associated with climate change.
"55-year-old Appa Sherpa is a mountain climber from Nepal, a record breaker. He has summited Mount Everest, the highest peak in the world, 21 times. Appa says the ice layer on the mountain is becoming thinner and climbing the mountain is no longer as easy. He started climbing his community's traditional occupation at the age of 14. Appa's concern is that if climbing becomes harder, his community will be deprived of their livelihood.
Appa's story is an example of how the media's climate change coverage has remained tangled in jargon, leaving the real stories of suffering untouched, like the Sherpas of Nepal who may lose their ancestral land for no fault of theirs.
A community radio station at work in Rudraprayag in Uttarakhand, where flash floods struck in 2013. When community correspondents spoke to the women of the area, they complained of the long trek to fetch firewood. They were walking longer as indiscriminate cutting of forests had made the mountains barren. Young girls had less time for studies. Many had removed their daughters from school. The river fish had vanished off the waters and the water itself was brackish now. The older women spoke of how the weather was not always so extreme. The women of the village had noticed all this and more. The link between women's rights and climate change may be a tenuous one, but our job as journalists is to link the big picture to the small, and often for a young girl being pulled out of school, maybe her big picture.